Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Nomani, in recent years, equality has been replaced with equity as the central focus of the modern civil rights movement. And we've seen how this has played out in a number of contexts, and you've testified today. It's been very compelling about how this has had a real effect in the public education context. Your testimony was really amazing. I mean, so the local school officials actually went to your minority community, and simply because you expressed your views as concerned parents about the curriculum, they said, and these are your quotes, "We need a different kind of minority." They said, you must check your privileges at the door, whatever in the world that means, and that you're white adjacent. I mean, how offensive is that? Yet you took a stand. All of you got together. You took a stand, and you rounded up the parents group. You started the Coalition for TJ, the Thomas Jefferson High School in Northern Virginia. And you just won in court, as you said, against this really insidious racism of critical race theory-centered policies that are a scourge upon the nation right now. So here's the question. How can other parent groups organize and stand together like you all have? Because I think this is very inspiring and instructional for other people.
Thank you so much, Representative Johnson, and thank you to all of the representatives on the House Judiciary Committee that have actually had the backs of parents. We are ordinary moms and dads, and we did not choose to have fights with our school boards or with principals. But in fact, we have decided that there are positions of value that matter to us. And what we want to encourage every parent is to have courage, have moral courage. And everybody who wants to shut us down needs to understand that nobody comes between a parent and their baby. Nobody comes between a parent and the child's education. And so what we want to do at Parents Defending Education, we invite people to register their parent groups, come to us and get tips on how to speak to the school board, how to file a Freedom of Information Act request. And what I want to encourage your Democratic lawmakers also to do is to take the letter that the Republican leaders, the committee sent just yesterday, asking serious questions about the new oversight, surveillance, and monitoring that is happening of parents. Every single thing that was said here today is now being done to parents. And that is unconstitutional and illegal. And I really hope that your Democratic lawmakers will also team up with you to understand that parents are our friends. They are not the enemy. Absolutely, and showing moral courage inspires courage in others, and that's what's so important. It's a big part of what it means to be an American, to stand against this kind of stuff. The Republicans in our committee stood together, and we are very concerned about the weaponization of the Department of Justice, and no one lower than the Attorney General himself. The source of your T-shirt, they labeled concerned parents as domestic terrorists for expressing their views about what's happening in their curriculum. And so we're on top of that. We are seeking some oversight. We'll make sure that we don't weaponize the federal government against concerned parents, at least after the next election cycle. Mr. Westhill, I got to move on because I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to ask you, you began to explain how the new advancement of equity as the benchmark is inconsistent with our civil rights laws and constitutional protections. You used the word or the phrase affirmative discrimination. Could you unpack that just a little bit more in a minute and a half here?
Sure, thank you very much for the question, Ranking Member Johnson. Affirmative discrimination is essentially plain old discrimination, like we've known in this country for many, many years. It just happens to be the case that it's being used in an official format at educational institutions, in contracting, in businesses, and it's the sort of thing that is the overt racial discrimination of the past that we were hoping we would get past in this country at some point, come back on steroids. That's what I mean.
Well, that's right. And there are elements in our politics and in the culture right now, the radical left, they're recasting racism and discrimination and equality for this zeal of equal outcomes, this quixotic quest that's not going to happen. Equity is dangerous. It's a poison to our system. It impedes actual progress in improving race relations and opportunity in the United States. And I think parents, citizens, people are beginning to recognize this, and they need more avenues to express their outrage. We have election cycles. There's one component of that, but I'm really grateful for the work that both of you are doing in organizations that you lead and others like it, because this is the way we affect change in America. So thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. All of our witnesses for your time today. I yield back.